No, it was off. Sorry. Hello, it's Vanessa. Welcome to our November webinar. And so glad so many of you could make it today. We've got an exciting lineup as ever. But you've got the crew here today to help you. So we're going to be talking a few exciting things. So maybe if we can just go on to the next slide and we can get started. So let me take you through the program that we're going to do today. Obviously, we have the holiday edition, which is always a lovely time of year. And we have our sale that's running. So I've got some exciting updates on that, but Kartik's going to share that news with you all in a minute. We also have some really great feedback from the community as well on the most recent update on the Envision glasses, namely the supercharged describe scene function that we have powered and enhanced with Ask Envision, of course. And Kartik is going to sort of be talking about these great things. I will be sharing some of those stories with you today. And then we've got a section on events. Inclusive Innovations was an event that we hosted, my gosh, was it last week? Just really recently here in the Netherlands. I'm going to do a quick recap from that. We have a few sound bites from that to share with you because we want to get that out there as soon as possible. And then we've got something exciting coming up in December as well. So we'll tell you where we're going to be then. And then, of course, we go under the hood with Kartik. So as ever, a little bit of housekeeping to get things going. Today's event is being recorded and being live streamed as well on YouTube and is being shared across our channels so people can join us there as well. We're going to do a Q&A as ever at the end of the session, and we'll do our best to answer as many of those as we can. But if you hold on to your questions, you can also, ask those during that time. And if you're invited to speak, so Kartik will open up the mic as he does. There's some shortcuts we've got for you. And you can use the keystroke to mute and unmute yourself as well. So with those shortcuts, let me just check that for you here, that for it's Alt plus A for Windows and Command plus Shift plus Alt A for Mac. That's to unmute yourself if you're invited to speak. Now, to ask the questions, if you're on Zoom today, just go ahead and use the Q&A window there. There's also a raise hand function that you can access, and the shortcut for that one on Mac is Option plus Y, and on Windows it's Alt plus Y. And on YouTube, use the chat function. I'll be monitoring that later on in the webinar, and we can answer as many as we can. So great. Let's get started. Kartik, please tell us what's going on. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Vanessa, and like a hello to everybody who has joined us on this webinar. It's the holiday season, end of the year. It is getting darker a lot sooner than we would like, but there is enough of festivities around, like to make up for it and to add a bit of a cheer when things are going a bit darker sooner than what we would like. And in the spirit of that, in the spirit of the holiday sale, we have a sale that we started in our online store. We started it initially as just a Black Friday to Cyber a Monday kind of a sale on like a over like a Thanksgiving like weekend. And we saw incredible response. Like people were like very, very responsive to this holiday sale. So much so that we have an announcement to make today that we've decided to extend it. So this is a holiday sale that will be extended, and we're doing this extension because of very high public demand after it was over, that they still want to purchase it as a gift for their family and their friends. So we have like a receptive to it, and because of that a demand, we're extending the holiday sale to December as well. This will probably the last time ever that we will do a sale of such kind. So if you are somebody who has been on the fence about these glasses, or if you know about somebody, just like let them know. The holiday sale actually exists all across our online shop, so it applies to anything that you buy on the Envision store, including accessories like the Lux frames or the Smith Optics frames, or if you just want to get a merch like a t-shirt or like a case just to support us, they are also all 15% off. It's a flat 15% off a sale. The only thing you need to do to avail this sale is when you're at the checkout page, you just need to enter 15 off as the coupon code in the checkout. That is a 15OFF. So if you enter that at the checkout page, you will immediately get a flat 15% off on all of the things that you would buy from the Envision store. Then with that announcement out of the way, I'm going to jump into some of the community feedback and about the new feature that we launched like last month. And we're going to talk about the reception for it. And that feature was called Ask Envision. For those of you who attended the previous webinar, probably heard me speak about it. And basically, we have sort of been able to incorporate this feature called Ask Envision within a describe scene, right? Where now when you use the describe scene feature in the glasses, what it does, it gives you a pretty detailed description of whatever is in front of you. But then you can ask it a question for a more detailed information about something specific in an image, right? So for example, if you take a picture of a storefront, it might say, hey, it is a storefront with a blackboard outside with a few items on the display and things like that. But you can ask it a follow-up question, be like, hey, can you explain to me exactly what it says on the blackboard, like a display outside the store? And it has that ability to sort of answer it with a bit more specificity. So we've been getting some pretty incredible feedback from the community who has been using this feature, for people who have been extensively testing it and offering us a feedback, and all of that feedback has been incorporated, and that has allowed us to improve the describe scene even more. We actually have a preview of a much more improved version of this describe scene feature that the other Karthik is going to demonstrate to you towards the end of the webinar. But for now, we're going to focus on the feedback we have been receiving from the community on the existing version of the describe scene that we have pushed to production. And with that, I would probably I want to bring on Vanessa, who actually has been sort of collecting all of these feedback, and you're sharing it with the whole team actually. Like Vanessa, are there any feedback in a particular? Like I know there's a long list, but I think it'll be pretty nice for you to at least read a couple of them.
Thanks, Karthik. We have a lot of feedback channels through our community channels and beta tester groups and our customer support team as well, and people just writing to us. And we have asked a few folks, like, just share some user cases, because the thing can be used across anything, right? And Wes from Canada, who is an a user of the Envision glasses, and he's super communicative, and he was telling me that he used them on a train ride going from where he lives to Toronto, and he was using the train ride with Envision glasses and using the describe scene to really understand what was around him. I'm going to actually just read what he sent to me, because it's his words, not mine. But anyway, here goes. Just last week, I took a scenic train ride up to Toronto and used the glasses in conjunction with AI, provided me an interesting descriptions of the surrounding countryside and the entirety of the trip. One scene description provided was this. The image shows a seating area on board a train, and outside the train, it's cloudy, peaceful, and yet welcoming. The scene description, the scene depicts a calm and modern, well-kept area, perfect for relaxing and enjoying the journey. The addition of the cloudy weather presents a soothing and yet warm environment on the train. That's quite verbose, but anyway, very nice. And what Wes said is that this was just, it never had that level of description before. I mean, it's really quite fantastic for him. He gives me a lot more information, but, I think that kind of gives essence of Wes's trip. And yeah, it was just really beautiful to hear about the inside and the outside of the train. And, when I've been using Describe Scene as well, to show people how it works and to give demos, I'm taking pictures of things around me, and it is quite incredible. Another one here from Maria and Hank Rolfs. They just sent a really nice message, actually. Said, we love the Describe Scene feature, which provides a much more detailed a comparison to the previous version, and it's been really welcome, and we're using it a lot, so that's fantastic. And I guess one anecdote, which for people who do follow our social media, they might have seen that when we published about the Describe Scene, we used an image of my dog and I actually testing out the before and after. So the evolution of this product is quite fantastic, and I know Canon's going to give us something special in a minute. But when I first used Describe Scene, it said picture of a dog sitting on a carpet, or sitting on a carpet. Yeah, fine. It was dog. And then the second one is a brown dog sitting on the carpet, looking happy, looking relaxed and everything. And then I asked a question. I said, what kind of dog is it? And it said, oh, it's a mutt, which is not. It's a special breed called a Ridgeback. So we all thought that was quite funny. But with the new enhanced the new enhanced Describe Scene actually told me that it's a Labrador Retriever, which isn't strictly true, but it's getting closer. So I'm sort of secretly hoping that the next one that Canon's going to show us is actually going to get the right breed. But in any case, we've been getting so many wonderful stories. It's been fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's exciting. I think I still remember the early versions of the Describe Scene, which was limited to like a sentence, like a short sentence, where it'll start from it looks like a dog on the carpet, and sometimes it will always get confused between a dog and a cat as well, like in the very like versions. I'm talking this, about like 5 years ago, right? That's how like a primitive version of AI was, when in just a span of of like 5 years, we have come such a long way. So I'm excited as to how this technology is going to evolve, and I'm excited that Envision is going to be at the forefront of it. You're pushing these changes to our like users as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
With that, let's move on to the special event that we did last week. Vanessa, could you probably
sure. Let me just give a quick snapshot of this. For Inclusive Innovations was created as an event. It's actually a sort of umbrella for an event, but also lots of different activities and building a community to really provide a place where people who are innovators like ourselves, but other companies in the assistive tech space, can actually meet with the accessibility advocates within and the blind and low vision community. There just wasn't anything like that when you and Canon got started and when Envision got started. And it's out of that we wanted to provide this platform. So what happened was that we did the event in March this year after CSUN in San Francisco, and it was great. We did that with Sharon and the team at the Lighthouse, and again, it was great. And we wanted to do something similar on this side of the pond in Europe. And we were approached by Bartimaeus Fonds. And Bartimaeus Fonds is an organization here in the Netherlands. It's a fund, a charitable fund for people who are blind and low vision. And they wanted to launch an innovation challenge. And they were looking for a springboard or a platform for that. And so they came to us and said, oh, well, you know, you're doing this event. You've done these events. Let's come together. And it just seemed like the perfect opportunity. And we'd been feeling that was timely. But every time we do these things, right, we've and it's our third one. So every time we've done it, we've sort of enhanced it. We've enriched it. We've kind of added things. We've changed things. And what was really cool this time, we actually had some workshops in the morning, and we had two kinds of workshops. The first workshop that we had was all about making accessible apps. You wouldn't believe how much information there is around that, and so a really great guy called Jesse Weinholz, and Jesse is like, we've known him at Envision, right? He's been involved when we were doing prototypes and helping us in that whole journey. And he's just a fabulous guy, works at an organization called Visio here in the Netherlands. And he did a great workshop. It was packed, and lots of great feedback from that. The second one was more a design session where we had the experts, and you know the people there actually sort of taking on this challenge. And what we did is that we ran this design session to address three key challenges that people who are blind and low vision face in the workplace. And this is part of a big initiative we're doing here in the Netherlands to really find some solutions around this. One of the challenges, you know, an inclusive work environment, how to create that. The second was bringing, you know, employer and job seekers actually together. I mean, one of the biggest challenges is just if you're an employer, and even if you're actively looking to hire people who are blind and low vision, where do you find them? And at the same time, if you're somebody who's blind and low vision and just wants to get out there and get a good job, reaching the companies that are willing to hire you is also hard. So this number two really interested me personally. And the third one is, once you get on board, how do you actually get on board? How do we make things accessible? How do we just get people started? And some of the findings from that workshop actually got shown later in our networking tech fair. And there was a lot of feedback and excitement. And this is ongoing. So this will grow, this will develop. And we had a lot of really positive feedback from that. The other thing that we also brought on a keynote speaker in the US in earlier this year. We had Mike May from Good Maps who came on board. And this time we had Dr. Amit Patel, who's an accessibility advocate. He's a TV presenter as well. And he's an avid campaigner. He lost his sight, 11 or 13 years ago. And he shared his journey on trying to establish himself and gain that independence, and really was interesting to us on, you know, the perceptions of people. There was a moment he talked about applying for jobs. He wrote to 100 companies, and you know, he was very honest. He said, you know, I've got all this experience. He's a trauma doctor by trade, right? So this guy is a highly educated and trained individual, and went off and wrote all this and said quite openly, oh yes, and by the way, I'm blind. Not one person called him back. As soon as he actually did a little test, and it was his wife's idea to send to 10 random applications and not mention his blindness, he got an invitation to all of them back. It's a long interview that he did, or presentation he did, and we've recorded all of this and we will be sharing it. But it was really lovely. You know, one of the things that he talked about was, let's focus on our abilities, not our disabilities. And that was actually echoed again when Bartimaeus talked about their innovation challenge. It's like, let the community of people who are blind and low vision inspire technologists and innovators to create really, you know, life-changing products and solutions. And of course, at Envision, we understand that, but just sharing that message I found hugely empowering. We also had tech demos, of course, with a range of technology companies, and they're the ones why we put this really together at the beginning. A company called Bipad, which is like say it's like self-driving cars, but for pedestrians, which is something you are wearable. Of course, we had these great people called Envision with their glasses as well, and Kartik did a great job of that. We had a Dutch indoor navigation system called Easyways, which was really great to understand that. We had a Zapper who've been on this webinar before talking about accessible QR codes. And we had our friends from Hable who have these tactile smartphone keypads, which they've been doing for a while. And it was lovely to get them back and see how they've evolved the product since, even over the last 2 years when we first did this event. So, some great tech, also these great ideas from these workshops as well. And all of that kind of was showcased. We also had a panel. So Robin Spinks, who's the principal manager for digital accessibility at the Royal National Institute of the Blind, or the RNIB in the UK, did a great job bringing together a really diverse panel, mostly of people who were blind and low vision, talking about, we talked about the tech. We've been talking about the need for access, and everybody says that's what they want, but actually in practice, how do you put that innovation into practice? And that was really, really interesting. And we had, some really good discussion around that. And I'm just looking at my notes here as well on, things like, the important there of workplace priority and the importance of governance, of course, but also automated and manual checks on the whole process. I think one thing that I thought was quite interesting, Unilever as a company, accessibility is a pillar for their product. So if they develop, or a product owner develops a product that isn't accessible, there's a financial implication to that. They take it that seriously. Again, lots and lots of discussion, lots of content, and we'll be sharing that on our channels. But I think the key takeaways from me was here that you can have the power of great tech is understated here. Of course, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't, and giving that personal freedom of choice and independence. But it's also the power of peer support. It's the power of having that community around you and those people around you to talk to. And I think that's what ININ is all about bringing these people together that can talk about these things. So you can have an open, honest conversation about, is my product really going to work? And, how does it feel to do this? And have that kind of broken down barriers there. And of course, the importance of continuous learning and engagement and empathy throughout the whole process. So it was a terrific event. We're still digesting, we're still post-producing the videos, but I have one here that I'm going to share. Actually, Kartik, could you click the button for me? Because I've just realized I can't do that. And we could just hear this little clip from Amit and Robin.
What does inclusive innovations mean to you?
As a visually impaired person, I find there's always barriers when it comes to technology. Inclusive innovation means that someone's thought about how it's going to be used by society in general, where I don't have to retrofit something, I don't have to pay extra to use something, I don't have to unlock features, but it's straight out of the box for everybody.
How can we integrate technology with the human aspect, ensuring a connection between the two?
I think tech can enable us to do lots of great things, and AI is showing us how quickly and incredibly things can happen. But actually human empathy and human understanding is what we need to actually ground the tech and make it real, make it personal, make it everyday for people. So a beautiful blend, a beautiful dynamic blend of technology and human support is what we all need.
What was your biggest takeaway from the conversations today?
As much as we're here for the technical side of things, it's the emotional stories. So for me, it's the conversations after the panel discussions. I had people coming up to me and being open and honest and talking about the fear they have on just stepping outside of the house, the fear they have around technology. And I think we're all here to empower each other, to give support and to give a shoulder if to cry on if you need that. But it's really just to support each other, not just in the tech side of things, but emotionally. Because you can have all the tech in the world, but if you're not ready to take that step forward, it's a waste. So I think tech and the whole support side of things, it all comes hand in hand. I hope whatever I say, I hope whatever, whatever someone's going through, they have the courage to go and ask for help, or to be an ally for somebody else, and have that ability to say, how can I help you? What do you need? How can we move forward? Or just the fact that I'm here for you when you're ready. Or for someone just to turn around and say, actually, do you know what? I'm ready now. I'm at a scary point in my life, but I want to move forward. I don't know how. And for us all to be around and say, well, we can help you.
Thank you. That was it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it was an incredible event. Like Vanessa, I think you did a great job of
What does inclusive innovation
recapping it. And yeah, super excited for having all the videos out soon, because then everybody can actually sort of also engage and take part in all of the conversations that we had there that were very, very impactful. Before we segue to the next thing, quickly I want to let people know about an event that's happening on the December 6th and the 7th. It's called the Site Tech Global. It's an online event that's actually being organized by the Vista Center for the Blind. And they have an incredible like 2-day agenda with a lot of amazing speakers and panelists. Everybody speaking about technology and its implications in assistive technology for the blind and low vision. So I definitely will highly recommend people to go and tune in on December 6th and the 7th. It is a live event. It's an online event, and it is free, so you can just sign up and listen to like all the great panels and talks on there for free. And you also have opportunities to engage with the speakers that are on the panel who are speaking about a really incredibly cool things. And one such a panel is by Envision, which is actually at like 10:50 a.m. That is a Pacific time. So on the 7th of December at 10:50 a.m. there's a panel in which I am a part of, and I'm talking about what happens when smart glasses get really smart. So that's the topic that I will be exploring with Joe, who is the founder of the Global Accessibility Awareness Day, and it'll be a very interesting conversations, and I hope you all tune in and also contribute to the conversations, because there's also a breakout session that happens immediately after the panel where you can ask like me or Joe or any of the other experts who are going to be on the panel all the questions you might have about AI, smart glasses, accessibility, and assistive technology. You can find a lot more information about this on their website. So just go to Site Tech Global, Site Tech Global, and you will be able to find all the information on the website about this. With that, I'm going to pass off the mic to Karthik Kakanan, who is going to take us a bit under the hood and talk about what's in the pipeline and what's brewing in the labs of Envision.
Right. Thank you so much, Karthik and Vanessa, for all of that really cool stuff that you guys have been talking about so far. That went down this month, in the month of November, and some of the stuff that we can look forward to in December. I am the Envision Santa Claus, bringing you guys some goodies a little bit before Christmas, of course, but nonetheless, some really exciting stuff that we have brewing under the hood. Firstly, let's talk about the Envision app. We're currently working on bringing the Ask Envision feature that is there on the Envision glasses also onto the Envision app, which basically means that if you have a PDF, if you have a document, if you have an EPUB file, a textbook that you're trying to read, or your favorite novel that is inaccessible, you could put that into the Envision app, and you can go ahead and have ask questions of the document you just scanned or imported into the Envision app with using either text or using voice. So you'll be able to have a conversation with the document that you just scanned with the Envision app, and that's something that we're working on right now. I'm hoping that we can finish most of the dev work for this in this month, and have this either as a brand new present for you guys during New Year's in January, or maybe even show you a sneak preview of this in the next webinar that we might have. So that's something that we're working on very intensely right now, and I'm super excited for how that feature is going to shape up. Another quick thing is we're going to have a lot of improvements come to instant text. So a lot of you, who have been using the Envision app earlier, know that instant text was something that you could use online and offline. When we introduced an update to the Envision app, we asked people to pick the preferred language that they would like to read in, and so on. And some of you all liked it. Some of you all were like, hey, we'd like Envision where, the old Envision where I can just tap a button and then Envision would just be able to go ahead and, understand what's in front of me and then speak it out in the right language without me having to always tell it what specific language I'm looking to read. And we've been working on that problem for quite a bit. And that's something that we can, that we're slowly going to be bringing back both on iOS and Android. So that's, these are the two big improvements that we have planned for the Envision app. And there are some other surprises in the works. I don't want to talk about it a little too much in advance because, they have been, we're just in the very early stages of that. And some discussions are still ongoing. So yeah, there are still some surprises left, and I hope I can talk about it in the next webinar. On to the Envision glasses. Yes, the Describe scene or Ask Envision for Describe scene has been a huge hit amongst all of our users. Like some of the kind of stories that you have been hearing from Vanessa about how users have been using it outside and getting descriptions of things around them and being able to ask questions has been incredibly powerful for a lot of users. And what we have done with the next version is take that one or maybe even two notches higher, right? So now with the Envision app, so the Envision glasses, you would be able to go ahead and take an image, a picture of an image using Describe Scene, get a description, and then you'd be able to ask questions and get much richer details of what's around you than the current, Describe Scene can. And this improvement, is thanks to a lot of advances that have happened in the AI in the last few weeks, and we've also been able to get very, early access to some, interesting APIs from OpenAI and so on. And this advancement is a culmination of all these, different things that were brewing under the hood these past few weeks. And we thought, hey, you know what? Let's just go ahead and show a sneak peek of the new Describe scene or the improvements that we've made to the Describe scene over a quick demo. So what I've done is I've paired my glasses with the with the speaker, so you can go ahead and hear what's coming in from the output. So I'm just
Describe scene beta.
Okay, I'm just going to bump up the volume to 100%. All right. So what we've done right now is when you take a picture with Describe scene, we've programmed it to go ahead and give you a simple high-level description of what's there in front of you. And using follow-up questions, you can just go ahead and dive into any aspect of your surroundings, and it will just give you much richer details on the fly, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of the scene that's to my right, and Describe scene is going to give me a description, and then I'm just going to go ahead and ask it a few questions after that.
Hide from main menu.
No, don't hide.
Do a one-finger double tap to hide this feature from the main menu and have it move to the More Features menu.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Hide from main menu. Do a one-finger double tap to hide this feature from the main menu and have it move to the More Features menu.
Okay. This is the cool thing about demos, right? Just you practice the whole thing, but when it actually comes down to it, it just starts acting funny.
Hide from main menu.
Okay, I'm just going to give my...
Do a one-finger double tap.
I'm just giving my trackpad a little bit of a wipe.
Hide from main menu.
Okay, let me see.
Do a one-finger double tap to hide.
Open Describe scene.
Opening Describe scene.
So now it's taking a picture.
With an illuminated floor lamp on the right side, various potted plants on a windowsill and curtains behind, the night sky and the moon visible through the window. To ask a new question about this image, press and hold the hinge button. You can also do a one-finger swipe down to go back or a two-finger single tap to open the context menu.
All right, so that was a very brief description of what was there in front of me, right? So now I'm just going to go ahead and ask it more information about the windowsill. Let's see what it says. Can you describe the windowsill in more detail?
The image appears to be a typical indoor ledge abutting the bottom of a window. It's part of a room where the photograph seems to have been taken at night, as implied by the darkness outside and the interior lighting. On the windowsill, there are several houseplants in pots of varying sizes and colors. The pots are mostly simple in design. A couple look to be traditional terracotta, while others are in different colored containers, potentially plastic, including a bright blue one and a gentle green. The plants suggest a desire to bring some greenery and life into the room, and they vary in leaf shape and size, indicating a mix of species. In front of the plants, there is a collection of objects that are not entirely clear, but they could be items like support stakes for the plants or perhaps discarded wrappers or small trash items. Just below the windowsill, you can see a radiator, indicating that this is likely a space in a climate where heating is necessary. On the far right, there's a tall floor-standing lamp with a paper or fabric shade that diffuses the light softly, contributing to the ambiance of the room. The light from the lamp casts a warm glow and creates a cozy feeling. Through the window, not much is discernible except for a bright object in the night sky that could be the moon or a streetlight blurred by the camera focus. The curtains are drawn back, allowing a view of the window and what's placed on the sill. To ask a new question about this image, press and hold the hinge button.
All right, so that was me asking a question about the windowsill, and just gave me a beautiful description of the radiator, the plants that are there, even the different types of pots that exist on the windowsill, the terracotta ones and the plastic pot ones and so on. So this is actually a huge improvement, like you can see, to what Envision's been able to do with Describe Scene and Ask Envision. And this feature is something that we're going to be rolling out to a public beta very soon, and hopefully also to the rest of the users of the Envision glasses over the coming weeks. And I think this is a huge leap forward in the way we use Envision itself as a whole, right? You don't have to, take pictures with an app and ask it questions with text by typing on a keyboard. It's a very conversational way of using AI and, using the world around you to ask, and it's a much more natural form of interacting with the glasses as well. And hopefully we'll be able to build on these early successes and bring more advances to the Ask Envision feature. So over to you, Vanessa.
Thank you. Well, I'm kind of blown away, actually. We've been hearing about these advancements, and I can just share a little secret here. Marketing, we try and schedule our promotions, and every time I think I've got a schedule, Kartik's like, oh, wait. So the rate of innovation is incredible, and we talk about incremental innovation and Envision, and we're looking at these journeys of our products and our features. It's incredible. Thank you, Kartik. I didn't expect that, and wow, nice pots you've got in your house. That's great. Cool. So I think actually we've come to the Q&A section of the webinar now, so that's really, really great. So Kartik, I see there's one question already in the chat here. In YouTube there are a couple. I'll share those with you as well, but maybe this first one is good to start with.
Yeah, let's jump into the Q&A section. Let's share some questions. There's a question in the Q&A from Robert Attini, who says, can you add environment choices to scene description? I'm not really sure what that means. Like Robert Attini, maybe you could elaborate or clarify the question. Because yeah, so this a scene description that we're building is pretty diverse, so it can so it can give you like a broad a description about something like an environment in a general, but also has the ability to sort of zoom in and speak about one thing in like particular, right? So it sort of has that, so it can sort of give you a general like a description of a scene. But if you just want it to describe in more detail about a person who is in the scene, you can sort of like go down and just talk about like more detail about the person, what they're wearing, what they look like. I think that kind of stuff is very much like is a thing that this a described scene is capable of. Let me start bringing people on the panel. I see a lot of raised hands. So anybody who wants to ask a question, you can either like write your question in the Q&A section, or you can use the raise hand function on Zoom and just ask us ask us a question as well. I'm going to bring in Abrar, who has a raised hand. Abrar, you can unmute yourself and ask us your question.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. It's great.
You're
Hello,
muted,
how are you?
Yes, hi,
Kiran.
Abrar.
Hey,
Yeah,
Abrar.
I want to ask some question about the glasses. If we wear the glasses and with the glasses speak to people on the street, or do you have to take the photo of that?
So the way the glasses are work is that it has a camera on it, and there are
Yeah.
different features that are built into the glasses. So like the describe scene feature we spoke about, you can just open up the describe scene feature by using like a voice command, and then it takes a picture of whatever is in front of you and offers you a description, and then you can ask it a follow up like a question, and then it'll give you a more detailed description based on the question you're asking it.
Yeah, and the question number 2, how much do you have to buy the glasses, or can we get from like a grant application or voucher for that, for discount?
It depends on the location that you're like based in. So like glasses are available for like purchase, but in like some regions they are subsidized or are reimbursable by either your health insurance or by a state agency. So depending on where you're based, we can offer you the options that are available in your region. But yeah, the glasses are available for straight up purchase as well. And as of now, we're doing a holiday sale of like 15%. So if you do buy your glasses in December, you will get a 15% off the retail price of these glasses.
Do you have to get them on the online shopping, or do you have to come to face to face?
You can do online like shopping. Like we ship all over the world. So if you go to letsenvision.com, that's LETSENVISION.com, you can just order your glasses online and we will ship them to you.
Can we choose any different colors of the glasses, or you just give normal glasses? Like if I want to order silver, can you order silver glasses?
So the glasses itself, so there are 2 components to the glasses. There is like the glasses are like body itself, which is in a charcoal, a gray. So it is like a dark gray. In that there is no choice. We only have the dark gray glasses, but you can buy buy like frames that go with these glasses. So these glasses always are shipped with a titanium frame, which is a lightweight frame. But then you have the opportunity to purchase additional like frames. So we have like 3 kinds of like frames. There is like a Lux frame, which comes in like a transparent, a gray style. There is a Lux frame that comes with a tortoise shell kind of a design on it. And then
Okay.
there is something called the Smith Optics frame, which is a bit more bigger and more bulkier. And that is like a black frames that we have. So you can choose different kinds of like frames, but for the glasses itself, it is a single design.
Okay, the last question is, what about if I buy the glasses, and what about if the glasses is damaged? Can we repair the glasses back, or do you have to go to the optician to repair that?
So if there is any damage to the electronic aspect of the glasses, these glasses, they do ship with a 1 to 2 year of like warranty on the hardware, depending on like which edition do you buy. And if it's within the warranty period, we will either repair or replace your glasses for free. If anything has happened to like maybe like lenses that you have added on it or something, then you can probably have it fixed with a local optician. But anything that happens to the hardware or the software of the glasses, that like will be repaired by Envision at the like our own cost if it's within the warranty period.
All right, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for question.
Thank you, Abrar. I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right, then I'm going to go to the next person with a raised hand. That's Hector Hernandez. Hector, you can unmute yourself and ask us your question.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, Hector, you can ask us your question.
Okay. I just want to know, because I use the Envision app a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way that it could be used like for offline use?
Sure. Yeah, Hector. I think there are a lot of functions in the Envision app that you can use entirely offline. So you could use, for example, the instant text feature offline. So if you're going to read short pieces of text, you could use that offline. There is the scan text function on the app that you can also use offline now as well. Similarly, you could use the find objects feature, the find faces feature, the explore mode. All of these functions can be used offline as well. In fact, there is there's an FAQ on our website which explains what functions are available online or what functions are available offline, and we'll be more than happy to share that with you after the webinar is over, so you can take a look into that as well. And our aim, is there any specific function that within the Envision app that you're interested in that you want to know whether it works offline or online?
I'm just asking. Because
sure.
Because if I had used offline, I could,
Yeah. No, sure. I can go ahead and share that with you. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, Hector. Thank you so much.
Just
appreciate.
Go ahead, and I'm just going to take a few more questions from the Q&A as well. We have a question again. I think Robert Tinney has gotten back to us with a little bit more detail. So a friend of mine is getting outside descriptions of like motorcycles inside of a hospital setting. So I think Robert, with the Ask Envision feature, like I said, right, you can go ahead and get a brief description of what's there around you. But then if there are specific portions of the environment that you're very interested in, for example, if you want to know what the scenes are outside, you could then go ahead and ask Envision to describe that particular portion of the scene for you. Or if you're interested in knowing about say even it's also really good at, for example, trying to identify say even brands of popular motorcycles or cars and so on. So there is a lot of specificity that you can go ahead and ask the Envision feature to look for, and those can actually go ahead and be given to you through the Q&A. So the initial descriptions are fairly brief, and then you can use the question answering mode to go ahead and ask more specific questions of what's there around you. And Morgan also has a similar question or has a question related to Ask Envision. He asks, he was wondering if the describe scene feature on the glasses with Ask Envision will also be coming to the Envision app on Android and iOS. So this is something that we're looking into at the moment, Morgan. We're looking to see if we can bring this feature also on the app and scale it, to ensure that all of our users are able to use it easily and for free. So that's something that we're looking into at the moment, and I'm hoping that in the new year, we'll be able to bring Ask Envision for Describe Scene also on the app. Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and bring in a few more raised hands as well. Vanessa, could you please help me bring Joshua Neumann? Hey, Joshua. You're on mute, just to let you know. Okay.
So, hello.
Hi, Joshua. Hi, how are you?
I'm so glad I have all the Envision glasses. I had got this on my birthday in the last month, and yeah, IPD had said my health insurance had paid the Envision glasses, and I have the Envision glasses, and I'm very glad.
Well, thank you so much, Joshua. I think I'm also glad that you have the Envision glasses and you're part of the Envision community. Are there any specific questions that I can help you with today, or anything that you want to share about the glasses? I'm curious how your experience has been so far.
How can I recognize images? Is it in the describe scene or not in the functions describe scene or scan text?
Sure. So if you want to get descriptions of things around you, then you should be using the describe scene feature on the Envision glasses. So that basically helps you to get detailed captions of what's there, the descriptions of what's there around you. And we've also added the Ask Envision feature on top of the describe scene feature, where what you can do is not only can you take pictures of things around you and get descriptions, you can also go ahead and ask questions of what is there around you as well. So like what I just demonstrated to you, you could take a picture and then just press the hinge button on the Envision glasses and then ask it a question. So that's the feature I would use if I want to get descriptions of things around me. Now, scan text is a feature that you can use if you want to scan documents, books, brochures, whatever documents you have with you. If that's something that you would like to scan, you can go ahead and use the scan text feature on the Envision glasses. So that's the two. That's what I would say.
Okay. Can I recognize images in the scan text also images on papers? For example, a man or a woman, he or she see and paint. For example, Heintje Simons. Can the glasses say there is a Heintje Simons on the paper or on the picture and say this, for example, or is this feature in the works?
This is a feature in the works on the Envision glasses. However, if you take this photo and then import it into the Envision app, that also gives you a description as well as reads out the text that is there in the image. So what we're doing is we're going to eventually bring this kind of a feature onto the Envision glasses. But for now, as a workaround, if you have a photo, you can just import that photo into the Envision app, and that will give you both a description of the image and will also go ahead and read out the text within the image as well. So that's what I would recommend you try. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Then I want to say thank you for the answers and wish you a nice evening and after the webinar, nice holidays.
Yes, thank you so much, Joshua, and I wish you a nice holiday as well, and have a good evening.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
All right, then we're going to have Joseph Marks. Hi, Joseph.
Hi. So I had two questions. Number one, I wanted to bring up about what Vanessa had mentioned about employment and kind of using accessibility, especially with Envision. One of the circumstances that I ran into was kind of the ignorance of or misunderstanding of some employees or employers as far as understanding the innovations, understanding they had a hard time understanding JAWS, and JAWS has been around for a while, and trying to get them to kind of understand something like Envision I feel like would be that has a lot more layers to it. I feel like would be daunting. So my first question are there ways or resources to be able to kind of educate employers so that they feel more confident in hiring a person that's blind or visually impaired? And my second question is similar to like how you can add words to a dictionary on your phone with text. Will there be a point with describe a scene where you could save the way your house looks, so that way Envision could say your home, or if you're going to a familiar location, it could tell you you're at this particular restaurant.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the second question is something I could answer, and the first question I would defer to Vanessa. I think she has a really interesting thoughts on how we can take Envision to employers and help them understand it better. Now, for the second question, not at the moment. So you will not be able to teach the describe scene, ask Envision specific objects in your environment. Of course, it knows a lot about the world itself. So you could be pointing it at objects that were previously not being able to recognize by Envision, and the new describe scene will be able to recognize them for you. I'm fairly confident of that once we push out the update. And eventually, I think we could be teaching Ask Envision to also remember specific objects in your environment or specific places. That is something that's very much still in the research phase. We have some early breakthroughs there, but nothing that we feel confident as announcing as a feature on the glasses and so on. So that's something that I'm hoping that we'll be able to crack in the coming year. So over to you, Vanessa, for the first question. Yeah.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Right. Yeah, I've got a couple of screens open, which is always dangerous. I'm trying to answer some questions. So, but listen, it's a wonderful one you brought up there. And thank you so much, Joseph, for actually highlighting this challenge. It is really a challenge. There is also accessibility. The ownership of accessibility is still quite spread out in organizations. Sometimes it's in an HR department, sometimes it's a individual, and then it's a sort of broad picture of something that they have to address on everything around accessibility, equality, diversity, you name it. So trying to kind of drill down and become the expert on all of these things, you're right, is hard. I think all I can say is the marketing person, with this wonderful team that we have at Envision, my biggest challenge is keeping it simple, keeping the message simple about the Envision glasses without overwhelming people with all the amazing things that it can do. But at the same time, if I don't show enough of what the glasses can do, people think it's just doing one thing. However brilliantly it's doing that thing, right? Whether it's a video call or a reading text or describing a scene. I mean, there really isn't a device like this in the market. So, it is really challenging because we don't fit into a category that's existing. We're a new kind of category of a wearable. But what I would say is that there is a growing underswell from people from the community demanding, support. I think in some countries, some markets, it's more advanced than others. In some cases, insurance companies are beginning to be more flexible, even though it's never simple, especially here in the Netherlands, for instance. But what I would say is that is exactly why we created ININ. We were trying to carve out a place to bring these people together. And slowly but surely, what we know is that's the long game. We can't change minds overnight. We're going to have to keep going. But I am heartened if I just look at the number of events going, even though there's nothing specific to what ININ is doing particularly, there are more activities happening than before. There are more meetups happening. Their communities are sort of getting back together again and sharing the news. And what I am seeing is that the more inspired people are, those few people that are working, that are changing it for everybody else, if we can give them a forum and a platform to come together and support each other, they can do more change from inside than maybe even from outside in. It's the long game. All I would say is that, we need to just keep it simple. I think.
Yeah, I'm here in Philadelphia in United States, and I'm a part of the Commission for People with Disabilities here in the city.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm trying to create different innovations to make things easier and more independent for people that are blind and low vision, and just trying to educate more people, companies, especially companies, because I feel like someone like me who's a potential employer, I want, or employee, I should say, I want to be able to have that employer understand my accommodations without feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think it's great that even if you know what your accommodations are, that's brilliant. But one of the things that came up in ININ, which was really pertinent, I don't know about you, I'm low vision, my situation is changing all the time. My accommodations needs today may be very different to what my accommodations need in a year's time or 2 years' time. And I think if you know what your accommodations needs are, then you're half the way there. I think for a lot of people, and that's true to people with maybe needing help with low hearing or deafness, or people with mobility or neurodivergency, you don't necessarily know what your accommodations what to ask for maybe at a time. And this is why these workshops, these grassroots things that we're doing, is actually sort of trying to give employers the tools and the guidance to ask the right questions, to hire the right people, and those right people who are brilliant problem solvers, right? I mean, where else can we get people who have to solve problems every day? How can we get them into the workforce? So I'm deeply passionate about it. You can hear that, but it is a question of us. We're having to go into organizations. We've been invited to go to PricewaterhouseCoopers, a huge organization in the US, to talk to their big corporate clients. Specifically on this, we were in insurance companies and pension companies here in the Netherlands, just going in around, the accessibility awareness days. However small those are, it's a start. So I applaud you for the work you're doing, Joseph, and please, feel free to share anything with us. We actually have a Slack group called ININ. And we're posting that up, and we'll share that again in all our newsletters and everything else. Please join. I hope you can find some like minds there.
Yes, thank you. Have a happy holiday.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to take one last call, one last person today, and then we're going to call it a day.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of other questions, a lot of raised hands. Like always, we could be doing this forever. But if there are more questions, feel free to always reach out to us via support, and we'd be more than happy to take them on. So I'm going to bring on Morgan Pimentel. Hi, Morgan.
Hello, how are you today?
Hi, Morgan.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for hosting this webinar. It's been really fun. I did have a second question. So I do work in the assistive technology space. I'm an assistive technology specialist here in the state of California. And one thing I've noticed in general and in my life, I am totally blind myself, is that, on your phone, you might have a lot of photos, whether it's from, if you had vision in the past or you still remember or what the, case might be. And you can add in descriptions today, but you have to remember them. You have to know, oh, this, I kind of remember that, or I know what this feels like, or something like that. So I was wondering if today on the Envision glasses, if you take a photo with described scene, are you able to somehow save that description so you can go back and reference that photo later? Is that available today? And then my second question is, if that isn't available today, is that feature perhaps in the plans for the glasses and or the app? And if it isn't, I just wanted to provide my feedback that I think that'd be helpful.
Thanks, Morgan.
Sure. So the feature that you're asking for has actually been available in the Envision app for, I guess, almost like 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. I think it's been one of the earlier features that we pushed in the Envision app, where if you take a picture with describe scene, you can actually save that image to your photo gallery with the description. So this is specifically an iOS feature because iOS allows you to actually write, image descriptions, like you said, to an image, right? So you could take a picture with describe scene, it gives you a description, and just below that, the place where you have the text, there is a save image with caption button, and you can click on that, and it basically saves the image to your gallery on your phone. So that way, if you're using VoiceOver and you're kind of going over the image, it basically, gives you a description of that as well. So I would suggest going ahead and installing version 3.2.6. That's the latest version of the Envision app. And you can go ahead and, try that feature out. And if you're facing any issues, or if you have any further questions, you can always reach out to us via support, and we'd be more than happy to help you with it.
Thank you. I apologize. I should have clarified. I meant describe scene with Ask Envision. If does the same still apply?
No. So if you're talking about this on the Envision glasses right now, that's not available. But it is a feature request that we can take a note of and look to see if we can add that in the future. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you so much. All
right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Morgan. And with that, I think we come to the end of another webinar. Thank you so much once again for over 100 people tuning in to the webinar today, and so many more registered. And I'm super happy that we all could be here. We could discuss some of the bigger updates that we've had with the Ask Envision Describe scene, with the ININ event that happened. And also, don't forget to tune in to SciTech Global that's happening next week on the 6th. You would hear Karthik Mahadevan, giving his thoughts on what accessibility is going to look like and how AI is going to really revolutionize accessibility with smart glasses. So that's it from our side, from Team Envision for this month. Any more thoughts, Vanessa?
No, none at all. I was just going to give a shameless plug to anyone who's left for our webinar next month, but we'll be in touch about that one. That's a year-end review. We'll be looking at that. But thanks, No. It was really it was great to get so many great questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish everybody a good holidays with their families and friends. And we'll see you next month with a special one. Until then, do take care of yourselves. Bye bye.
Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Bye bye.